Hi, have you ever thought about what advice that you would give to your younger self? I feel like that question has crossed so many people's minds, whether it's in conversation with somebody about whether you would steer yourself in a different direction, whether you would do it to avoid some inevitable pain that you know comes up in your life, or whether you would do it just to heal the inner child in you. And I thought, why not intentionally do that work. Create a video on it because maybe it'll help somebody. Or maybe my children will come across this video in years to come and it may help them. Maybe it'll even be therapeutic to me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself some brutally honest advice to my younger self in hope that maybe there is a good reason why we all ask ourselves that question. Or maybe it will help guide my younger self, heal my younger self. Who knows? We'll see. To anybody who doesn't know me, hi, I'm Jade. I'm a degree qualified person centered therapist who has my own private practice, JMS Wellbeing. The work that I love to do, I do a variety of work, but the work that I love to do is empowerment and helping people discover who they are, people who may need that guidance, who have come across being othered in their life. And what I mean by othered is marginalized and not fitting in that kind of mainstream community, whether that's being an ethnic minority or whether that's being neurodivergent, whether it's something else entirely. So if that's for you, you found your community, please stay, please like, please follow. Anyway, to get into the good stuff, let's start. So the first bit of advice that I would give to myself is you are delicate and you should be. And you will spend your life avoiding that inevitable truth. People will encourage you and praise you, which is not something that you get a lot of in response to your hyper independence and your ability to take care of yourself. But that is a trauma response. And although you are very good at it, and although there may be definitely some benefits to it, you are delicate and you want to be loved and you want to be looked after. And that is totally, totally okay. And the quicker that you can come to understanding that about yourself, the quicker and the more in alignment with yourself you will be. I think that this won't relate to everybody, but the ones who it will relate to will feel it deeply. There is many females who, for whatever reason, have not had their needs met and they have not been taken care of. And they get pushed into their masculine energy. And there is a great benefit to masculine energy, but it's totally okay to become passive and to be able to receive and to not have to be the one who always takes care of things. And I think that's the first thing that I would say to my younger self. It's okay that you became what you became in order to get by, but you are delicate, you are lovable, and it is totally okay to be in your feminine energy. The second bit of advice that I would give to myself is you are going to feel alone a lot. And the reason for this is because I've come to now learn that people feel for what is familiar for them. So they become loyal to their understanding of the world. And if you're not in their understanding of the world, they often won't feel for you. So you will be either marginalized, you will not be cared for the same, you will be shunned, you will be treated in difference to everybody else. And although that sounds like a really negative message, the thing that I would go on to say is that the quicker that you understand that that's how it works and that's not personal to you, the quicker that you can begin to find and accumulate all pieces of what make me me, what make you you. And once you find all of you, that is when you can find your community of people who will feel for you deeply, who will understand your view of the world, who will understand why you care about every life form, whether it's the ants on the ground or whether it's, just somebody passing in the street who looks like they have a sad face. Not everybody receives the world like that, and they don't have to because they're not having the same experiences that you are, where you understand that everybody matters. And the reason I've come to learn that everybody matters is because I know what it feels like not to matter. And I'm going to feel alone because I don't fit into everybody's familiarity and what they're loyal to. And then in turn, what they are then empathetic towards. And that doesn't make me any less. That doesn't make me any less. And if you are somebody who's experienced that, it doesn't make you any less. It just means that you have to find your community of people. Finding your community of people, when you do it, when it happens, it's life changing. And the only way that you can find your community of people is to truly know who you are, which means an element of subtracting the people pleasing. And I understand why you do it if you're somebody who's listening who does it. You do it because you think that that's what will help you fit in. You think that that's what people need, which I understand too, but not at the expense of where you don't matter or where you come last. No, you matter too, and your needs matter, and who you are matters. And the quicker you can find that and shed anything that isn't true to you, the quicker you will find your community of people. And the quicker it will become apparent that loneliness isn't inevitable, even though you may spend a lot of experiences feeling lonely. The third piece of advice that I would give to my younger self is the trauma and the things you experience are not your fault. I can't stress that enough. They are not your fault. But your healing is and will become your responsibility. And if you don't pick up the pace to do that work, the longer it will take for you to get to that thing that you're searching for. I think that the reason why this piece of advice is so important to my younger self is because she will go on to have a savior complex where she will naturally feel more aligned to people who are hurting because she was hurting, which makes perfect sense. But not everybody who is hurting is healing. And if they're not healing, then you will move on to trauma bonding with these people. Trauma bonding is a whole new video. If anybody wants any more information on that, please do let me know. But I will go on to trauma bond with these people, and I will end up in turn, because I'm not just moving towards people who are hurting and healing, I'm just moving towards people who are hurting and not doing the work. I will in turn hurt myself further. I will go on to have regrets for myself, for my children, that if I could, there's not a lot that I would change in my life, but if I could change something, it would be that for them. And if I could speak to her about that, I feel like that's probably, if I could only choose one of these, the most powerful thing that I could say. You do have an identity overlap with people who are hurting, but you're not the same as people who are not healing. And it's okay to meet them where they are at. And if they're not coming, they're not coming. You can wish them the best, you can hope that they heal, but they're not coming. And for as long as you wait and hope and try to save, the longer that it will take for you to heal, and the longer it will take to recover from further experiences that those people might bring you. The fourth piece of advice I would give myself is really short, really snappy, and it would be learn to invest in your relationship with yourself and learn to begin to trust yourself, whether it's listening to that gut instinct, whether it's learning to again develop that relationship with self and trust yourself from that. Please do that work, because the way that I see it now is that if I don't know all of myself, I cannot begin to expect somebody else to just know me. And if I do not love me, I'm not going to believe anybody who tells me that they do. And the fifth and final piece of advice that I would give myself, well, for this video anyway, is that I would learn and I would teach myself how to feel my feelings rather than become my feelings. So feel sadness, process sadness, not become sadness. Feel anger, process anger, not become anger. and anything else that I needed to learn fundamentally, like sit down and learn how to do in terms of having an emotional experience, that being okay, that not consuming me because I know how to process it, I know how to sit with it, which I do now. I know how to work through it. I know how to regulate my nervous system. And I then know how to move on from it categorically, where it doesn't just still have a rope around my waist and pulling me back every time that I think about it. If this has been useful to you, please do let me know. And anybody who has different lessons to the ones that I've said, please do let me know what you would give your younger self advice of. Whether it, like you say, it's the steering it in a different direction, whether it's a fundamental lesson that you needed to learn, or whether it's just something that you really wish your younger self would have known. I'd love to hear it. Speak soon.